Draft. I can't wait for that. My guy moved the sticks. You don't want to miss it. DJ's mock draft tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern on NFL Network.
Nate, I can't wait for that. We also are getting tweets from our reporters throughout the day. Here's one of them, Tom Pelissero. Another team in the top 10 expressing interest in trading down. The Cardinals at number 8. They currently don't have a second-round pick from the DeAndre Hopkins trade. Could be a spot if someone jumps up for one of the top offensive linemen. ... Or a QB. Very interesting. It leads to a very fun segment that we do here on the show. It's called 2-Point Conversing. It's Nate, it's me. We go at it. You know, I was a reporter for many years up in the press box. Nate was a player on the field. We agree on a lot of things, but there are some things we just don't see eye to eye on. Let's get to 3 topics and let's get after it, Burleson. Number 1. All right. The news went down yesterday, according to, of course, Ian Rappaport and the rest of the NFL media, that Gronk was being traded to Tampa Bay. So here's the statement. You tell me if you agree or disagree. The 2020 Bucks will be the best offense Tom Brady has ever been at the helm for.
Yes, I agree. And I know that some people are going to call me crazy, but just think about this for a second. They have Rob Gronkowski now, a Hall of Fame tight end who is an absolute monster. Oh, not to mention he's been sitting out for a year, relaxing, getting his mind right, but more importantly, getting his body right. He's good to go. And you add him to the players they already have, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, 2 of the best receivers in the game. And I'm not just saying that casually. I'm talking about literally, statistically, 2 of the best receivers in the game. And they already have O.J. Howard, Cameron Brate, Tom Brady. He's putting together the pieces to the puzzle, and it is going to allow him to play freer than he's ever been. If Tom Brady is playing free, the GOAT is playing free, then yeah, he'll be playing with one of the best offenses he's ever played with.
Nate, what do I always say? Don't be a prisoner of the moment, pal. We're getting here a Gronk who's a year out of retirement. This kind of has a feeling of potentially being Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett in Brooklyn Nets uniforms. I'd slow down on this. Don't underestimate the 2007 New England Patriots that went obviously all the way to the Super Bowl as an undefeated team and lost to the Giants. But look at what those offensive numbers were. We rave about the Chiefs from last year. We go nuts about the greatest show on turf. Dude, 37 points a game, 411 yards a game, 295 yards through the air, a younger, more nimble pre-ACL Brady. Oh, don't forget Randy Moss in his prime. I'm saying I like the Bucks, I like the move, but let's not just be prisoners of the moment here, pal.
Yeah, I can respect that. Randy Moss, he was a monster in that Patriots uniform.
Let's get to the next one here, okay? I'm going to read you something from Greg Bishop's article on Sports Illustrated yesterday, okay? Here's what Greg Bishop said in an interview with DeAndre Hopkins. This was D-Hop's quote. Let's get to it here. There was no relationship. Make sure you put that in there. There's not a lot to speak about. That was DeAndre Hopkins talking about his relationship with Bill O'Brien. 1 month later, we have now had a good 4 weeks at home and in the basements thinking about this trade. 1 month later, the DeAndre Hopkins trade is still a shock to you.
Yeah, it really is, man. I just don't get it. Now, let me be very clear. I've met Bill O'Brien on a few occasions. He's a good dude, seems like a great coach. And, you know, I'll be honest, when I meet a coach, there's some coaches I'm like, nah, I don't vibe with him. Other coaches, I want to play for that dude. And when I met Bill, I had that feeling. But when it comes to some of his star players, I just don't get what's going on. So you trade away Jadeveon Clowney. He's not happy. He doesn't want to stay. And then you let go a guy who has had 54 touchdowns since entering the league. That's second since that time frame. I mean, DeAndre Hopkins was a beast. DeAndre Hopkins was a monster. And if you look at how much older J.J. Watt is getting and his body falling apart over the last handful of years, DeAndre Hopkins was the face of the franchise before Deshaun Watson got there. I just don't get it, Strays.
Yeah, I would say it's a shock, but if you're shocked by that, you haven't been watching what Bill O'Brien's been doing down there. He's the only coach outside of Belichick who's also the GM and basically has decisions on players. And you said it. You get rid of Jadeveon Clowney and you get rid of Laramie Tunsil and anyone is available. I mean, Clowney's a first overall pick. Tunsil, arguably one of the best tackles in the entire sport. He was willing to trade those guys. And if you read this article further, you can't be shocked considering Hopkins had no relationship with O'Brien by the time this thing was done. None. He and Deshaun Watson are best friends. Those guys get along. They were working out. They were having a blast throughout the entire season. Looked like they were on the path. But Bill O'Brien, this guy is making trades, and he's also coaching the team. Can't be shocked. Anybody, maybe with the exception of Deshaun Watson, seems to be available for the right price with Billy O. All right, last one here. And this is one very close to your heart as a former Detroit Lion and a person who announced the Detroit Lions pick at the draft 2 years ago in Dallas. I ask you, the Detroit Lions, should they trade back in round 1 or should they keep the pick? The comment is this: Detroit Lions should trade back in round 1. What do you say?
I say go ahead and do it, man. Listen, as much as I can appreciate Jeff Okudah, even if you trade and slide back, you still can get him. I mean, we talk about draft day being the ultimate day of thirst. It's just like when you're on Instagram and the guys and the girls are putting out those thirst traps for everybody to go out there and attack. The same thing happens with the pick that the Lions have. You can put out that thirst trap and say, hey, Miami, I know you guys have 3 first-round picks. Do you want this? And then you allow yourself to slide back, and you can still get the player you want. As much as people are fiending for quarterbacks, you can use this pick to entice them as bait. Yes, slide back and you can still get whatever you want, plus more.
Hey, I've been on the phones with GMs. I've got GMs texting me. I've got coaches texting me. I'll tell you, I don't think this is the year there is a thirsty market for teams looking for a quarterback. I don't see anyone trying to trade up for 3. So I would tell this to the Lions. If there is a great offer, of course, don't short sell the 3rd overall pick in a very talented draft of players. Don't just trade back for the sake of trading back. If you like Jeff Okudah, if you like Isaiah Simmons, or if you like Derek Brown, love them, draft them, never look back. You don't get the 3rd overall pick too often. You hope you never get it again as a GM and as a coach. Take a star player. If that guy's there and the trade isn't some wild offer, go draft your guy. Lions, don't be scared not to just take a player. Woo, Burleson. That's what we do. This is called 2-Point Conversing. Let us know at home. DeAndre Hopkins, if you're watching, chime in. We'd love to hear from you. More Good Morning Football coming up after this. Of course, NFL Draft Kickoff is presented by Lexus. It starts tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern. Charles Davis, Daniel Jeremiah, the whole gang. You got to watch the preview show. Good Morning Football returns after this.